I was looking at the Knicks schedule just the other day. Of course, the games are postponed, but it said they were playing against the Bulls, and I said, what better person to go to than somebody who was rich in that tradition and that rivalry than John Starks. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
All right. So let's pretend today is game day against the Chicago Bulls back in the day, back in the 90s. What was your mindset as you're going to the game and getting mentally prepared to take on the Bulls?
Well, first and foremost, I always looked at video before and trying to grasp of what I need to do and who I was playing against. Obviously, it was Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
But really trying to pick some things up that probably going to help me in the game. So just kind of, get my mind focused on what I need to do in order to make things a lot tougher for him.
Yeah, and you said that your main guy was Michael Jordan. That was a guy that you were going to be guarding. How much film did you have to watch? I mean, you already knew, right?
Yeah. But you always have to watch film. It helps me in, picking up certain things that they like to do. But with him, it was a little different because, I always talk about, certain players have certain weaknesses, certain things you could take away from him. But he was one of those players that you couldn't take anything away from him because he didn't have any weaknesses. So
let's just say for Reggie Miller, what would you try to do to him that maybe you wouldn't be able to do to Michael Jordan?
He's the type of player that you didn't want to get going because when you get going, he's pretty much unstoppable.
Right.
I always try to make sure that deny him the ball as much as possible. But with him, you can always get up on him, and because he wasn't a great ball handler, but he was excellent coming off picks. He knew how to use the pick. I actually learned from him how to use the pick, come off picks. And so, as players, you always pick up those type of things when you're playing against a great player. So with Michael, obviously, it's a lot different.
Right.
He had good quickness. He had the height advantage on me. Obviously, he outweighed me.
Right.
I was 6'3", 6'2", actually. I'm going to tell the truth here. My main thing was just denying the ball as much as possible. Just make him work as hard as he could just to, receive the ball. Then when he got it, just try to play him as best I could.
Allen Iverson talked about Michael Jordan during his Hall of Fame speech, and he was saying that there was just an aura around him. It just looked like,
for sure.
Dave Chappelle, Rick James. But but did it look strange, the 45?
It did look strange. You used to seeing him in 23, and when he came back, obviously, he had 45. I think it's something to do with his father. And so, it was kind of strange, and it was kind of awkward playing against him because I haven't played against him, obviously, in a year and a half or so.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know truly how to guard him.
Yeah.
But he was just, knocking down shots. Even when I was in his face, he was just knocking down shots. It was kind of strange.
When he came back, right, and he was getting back into form, you were telling the story about how the game before they played you guys and he got the double nickel, he kind of gave a little, he was starting to round back into shape.
Yeah, he was. It was actually against Atlanta, and I was
Right.
sitting up watching that game, and he hit the last second shot, and he gave that, right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, no. He's coming to New York next. And obviously, when players come here, they tend to take their game, elevate their game to a whole nother level. It was just a special night, that particular night, because I knew that I had my work cut out for me, and I knew that he was going to come in here and try to put on the show.
But, in that rivalry, though, you got yours too, though. I mean, let's talk about one of the most iconic plays in the Knicks-Bulls rivalry, and that's the dunk. Just the dunk. That's it. Tell me, when you did the little move on B.J. Armstrong, turned down the screen, were your intentions to go in there and jam it like that?
When I was coming down, I was kind of slow dragging him. And when I got into position, I saw that Bill Cartwright was still high. And BJ had his back to him, so he didn't know that he wasn't down on the baseline. So when I gave him that little hesitation and look, cut my eyes, he jumped to my side. Patrick came over and gave him a little nudge. Baseline. Only thing I saw was Horace Grant, and I knew I had to go in strong.
Yeah.
And I had all the momentum going with me. And so I just jumped as high as I could, dunked the ball, spent out, and ran back up court to get back on defense because I know they like to catch you sleeping after a play like that. And, my teammates come and give me high five and what have you. And went to the bench, and I'm on the bench, and you probably see it sometimes during the replay, is that I'm looking up trying to catch the play. Catch the play. So I saw the next day in the newspaper, and Michael Jordan was on that backside. I like, gotcha.
Gotcha.
You never catch him on the dunk. You never catch him on the post.
You went into every contest against the Bulls with a lot of confidence because of the guys you were with, the grit, the New York kind of feel to the team that you had. Is that pretty much accurate, that you love those guys that you went to war with?
I think you summed it up perfect. We had a physical team, and we had to be that way because we wasn't a explosive offensive team. The way the team was built is more built on beating guys up and just grinding out wins, and that's the way we played. That's the mentality Coach Riley wanted us to have, and he wanted us to take on the persona of New York, and that's the mentality of New York people. And so a blue-collar city, and he wanted a blue-collar team. So, we just wanted to come out there and just, lay it out on the line, do whatever we had to do in order to win the ball game.
We heard about the Jordan rules with the Detroit Pistons. You guys had your own set of rules too. Like you're talking about, you couldn't really outscore a lot of teams, so you had to be really physical. What was that? That was called the no layups rule?
No layup rule. So when you knew you was coming in and playing against us, if we was on the road, teams knew, and they feared that if they down the lane, that they was going to get hammered. And that was just the nature of the league during that time.
Yeah.
And referees would look at you when you knock them down, get up, go shoot your free throw. You want to, look at video or anything like that.
Right.
But that's what our intimidation factor was, is that when teams drove down the lane, they knew that they was going to get hit. And even if you didn't hit them, it threw them off because they wasn't making layups. So
they had to think about it.
They had to think about it.
And games at the Garden were special, weren't they? Tell me about what the atmosphere. I mean, if we go back to that, the dunk, or some of the other big threes that you hit, LJ's 4-point play, all that kind of stuff. What did it feel like being in the Garden when those type of things were happening?
It was incredible. You know what I mean? Garden is a special place to play basketball, period. And teams come in there, you knew that you were going to get their best. No matter how bad of a team it is, you knew that they was going to come in there and play their best. And so we had to be on guard for that because being in New York and, obviously it's the mecca of basketball, and the Garden is just the mecca of arenas around the league. And, that atmosphere, it was just electric, night out. And we live for that. I live for that as a player, you know what I mean? Knowing that you're going to go and you're going to play at a high level every single night. Because if you didn't, the fans let you know.
Oh, you're going to hear about it.
Some guys, be honest with you, some guys was fearful of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They didn't like hearing the boos, but I didn't mind. If I'm playing bad, go ahead and boo.
Yeah.
Because that's going to, energize me to go out there and play even better, as a player, you know what I mean? So you have to take the good with the bad, as they say. And so I didn't really get hung up on that because I knew our fans loved the way we played and they was behind us 110%. So I didn't mind it. Some players and some teammates didn't like it. You know what I mean? And they shied. So you have to have a special mentality in order to play here in New York. And some players are built for it and some players are not.
Yeah, and you develop a thick skin as well, going through that kind of process. And you had some tough games. How did that help you though, getting through those moments when things didn't go exactly the way you wanted it to in the playoffs or in the finals or whatever? Yeah.
I talk about this all the time. I have a very forgetful memory.
Yeah.
So I right away.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I did yesterday. So it probably helped me as a shooting guard.
Right.
I never did pay attention to the last shot that I missed. I'm always like looking forward to the next shot. So I think for me personally, it was fun.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Knowing that I can go 0 for 9, then all of a sudden I get hot.
Yeah.
9 for 9. So, you know, that's the mentality that I had as a shooter. So you have to be able to, you know, knock aside all the misses and knowing that the next shot is going to go down.
And just have so much confidence.
Exactly.
As a guy coming from Tulsa, Oklahoma, could you have envisioned having a career that you had? You were 6th man of the year, NBA All-Star, played so many years. Again, the iconic moments, the historical parts of being with the Knicks and having a long career in the NBA. Could you have imagined that growing up, that you would do all that?
Not at all. Not at all. Especially the way I first got into the league. So
yeah.
I was just trying to get a job at that particular time. And to be able to come here and do it on the biggest stage in New York and be successful at it is just a dream come true. You know what I mean? Because you always, as a young player, you want to play in these iconic arenas. And what better arena to do it in MSG? So it was just a special place to play. And to have the teams that we had and the way we played and lay it out there on the line every single night, it just made it so special.
And you were able to not only carve out a great career, but a post-career as well, working for the Knicks and also the John Starks Foundation. Right now, though, it's been impacted because of the coronavirus pandemic. Tell us how it has taken a toll on your fundraising and your charitable works.
Yeah, it has been tough. You know, we had to actually cancel 2 events, possibly 2 events, I should say. But we did the bowling event back in February before everything started to really get out of control.
Right.
Had a casino night planned in June, so obviously we had to cancel that. And our big golf tournament in September is kind of on hold right now. We just kind of see where things go.
Right.
You know, it's tough, you know what I mean? Because you want to raise money, you really want to help children, and that's putting a strain on us right now as a foundation that we can't do things that our foundation does every single year, is to go out and really give young people an opportunity to realize their dreams and go into college and stuff like that. So it's been tough, but we're going to get through it. We've been very fortunate. We have some very special sponsors who's been with us from day one and who continue to be with us. And so we just want everybody to hopefully support us. You can go to johnstarksfoundation.com. And if you want to donate, knowing that the money that you're donating is going to help young people, it means a lot.
Yeah, and I've seen up close and personal how your foundation impacts the young kids that, like you said, going off to college. And you had lofty goals too this year. $1 million was it going to be raised?
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, it's still on the table. We we can still do that as far as donating, even though the events aren't going on. Still be able to give as much as we can.
Yes.
Right.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Any last words as far as I remember Jordan. Give me a Jordan anecdote. Give me a Jordan special moment or just an interaction you had on the court with him.
Well, I think when he first came back was the moment that I remember the most, is because obviously I haven't seen him in a while, and I remember my mentality is I'm going to meet you when you come out the locker room. And so when he came out on the court, I always had to look him in the eye and kind of stare him in the eye. And I remember I got close to him and I told him, I said, "Oh, you got grape or strawberry or something bubblicious." Oh, it's like, I'm gonna be like this on you all night long. So I laughed, you know what I mean? But he was just an incredible individual. You know what I mean? I remember when we got into that little scuffle in game number 3 in Chicago during the playoffs. And he thought I was going after him because he had the wrist injury at the time.
Uh-huh.
And, I ended up getting kicked out the game for I don't know why, but
Right.
they kicked me out the game, and I went on, talking to the media and stuff like that, and I explained to him, that I wasn't going after him because I had so much respect to him, and I just kind of broke down the whole thing about him and what he went through with the media on him about going to Atlantic City,
Right.
For the game and stuff like that. And I broke it all down to him. And this type of person he was, he told Patrick, tell John I apologize.
Oh.
It's a lot. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because I just tell him, that's his personal business. What if anybody know how to get ready to play a basketball game, I think it's him.
Yeah. No doubt.
So I broke it down that way. I guess he looked at the media, response that I had for him, and he told Patrick, tell John I apologize.
That's big time.
But I was hoping that he would apologize in person.
That would have been nice, right?
But
Yeah.
him saying that, shows that he has a lot of respect for me, and I got a lot of respect for him. So that meant a lot.
Yeah, a lot of mutual respect through that heated rivalry.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, man.
Thank you,
Really
old man.
appreciate you.
Continued success, bro.
All right, you too. Take care.